Hey babe, welcome to By the Hour, where we chat and reflect and keep your vibe in check. Today, there is no word of the day, but I want to talk about the dating scene, so let's get into it. So guys, today I just really wanted to dive deep into dating, being single, just really embracing womanhood. Now, I know last episode I kind of went into, stepping into my power, being selfish, being unapologetically me, which is the whole, ethos of this podcast, let's just say. And if I'm being honest, the past couple of months, I have been like up and down when it comes to being single, dating, and just putting myself out there. And I know I'm not the only one. I know a lot of us women in particular are definitely starting to step into our power and really focusing on us. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I'm actually so glad that women are now starting to put their foot down. We're starting to really embrace singlehood because society has told us that if we're single, it means that we're not good enough, or that means we're left on the shelf. Now, I've definitely felt like that in the past, and I have my moments still where I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why am I struggling so much? But you know what? It's not just me, and it doesn't mean that it has anything to do with me per se. Maybe there's a lot of work that I need to do, which is the case, but we're going to dive into it today. So, as I said, there's no word of the day because I was just like, I just want to dive straight in. Let's actually discuss the dating scene. Let's discuss just how cooked the dating scene is right now. Like, the dating scene is cooked. My goodness. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I think it's a combination of so many different things. It's people healing from trauma, whether it's from the past or past relationships or things that they need to work on within themselves. I think it's societal pressures. I think it's a combination of so many different things. But as I said, the dating scene is cooked. It is so cold out here on these streets. I know not a lot of people like to refer to it as being on the streets. And I'm not saying I'm on the streets like that. I'm not saying I'm, messing around per se. But what I mean is the dating pool, us single folk, let's say, it's just, I'm finding it really difficult. And if I'm being honest with you, I think I always have. And that is for various reasons. It's not because I'm not good enough or I'm not desirable. And, obviously later on into the episode, we'll dig deeper when it comes to that. But I think it's because I'm still trying to find myself, and I've been through a lot in my life, as I've, divulged in a few episodes so far. But I'm just not satisfied. I am not satisfied with what I'm experiencing or what I have experienced. So, obviously I've gone into detail about, previous relationships or my experience with limerence and all that. And if I'm being really honest, I haven't had that much experience when it comes to dating. And it's funny because it feels like I have, but I really haven't. I haven't had many boyfriends. And in my opinion, I feel like it's because of my attachment style. Now, if you follow me on TikTok, I'm really, into attachment styles or the attachment theory as a whole. I was first introduced to it when I was in sixth form because I studied psychology, and I really found it interesting because it sort of explains your early beginnings as a child, as an infant, your connection or attachment to your caregiver. And I think they mostly focus on your mother. So there are various attachment styles or various types. So you've got the secure attachment, which is quite self-explanatory. You're secure. I see it as someone who's really grounded and really sure of themselves and confident. And then you've got insecure attachment styles. And within that, there's a few, types. So if I'm not mistaken, there is fearful avoidance / disorganized attachment, which is what I am. And there's also, what is it? Let's actually find the attachment styles, because I know them, but because I'm so focused on my own attachment style, it's like I don't really think about the other ones. I believe there's dismissive avoidant. Here we go. So there's secure, anxious, preoccupied. So that's like an anxious attachment style, dismissive avoidant, and fearful avoidant. So it's like a spectrum. You've got secure, and then you've got anxious, preoccupied. I don't know why I can't say that word today, but that's like an anxious attachment style. And then you've got dismissive avoidant, and then you've got fearful avoidant / disorganized. And that's the attachment style that I have. Now, I would love to go into a lot of detail about like all the different attachment styles, but I actually want to do a separate episode on this. And I have mentioned before that I actually do attachment style coaching. And I have learned so much about different attachment styles, including my own. So I'm going to focus on mine in particular for this episode. So I have a disorganized attachment style, which is a combination of anxious and avoidant. Now, I'll speak for myself and say that different people trigger different sides of me. And I would say as a whole, I'm actually an avoidant person. And I didn't think I was, like, in my last relationship. And that was because it triggered my anxious side. So I became very on edge, very anxious, very like insecure and not sure of myself, or not sure of the relationship and where I stood with my partner at the time. But outside of him, I have mostly been an avoidant person most of my life, not even romantically, but within my friendships or my relationships with family. I'm very much like, I just want to be alone. I like solitude. When people get too close, I feel uneasy and everything. And so, yeah, like, I think for me, it just really depends on the person. As I said, like, some people can be very clingy and anxious, and for me that triggers the avoidant side in me, because I'm like, whoa, like, calm down, like, don't come into my space. Like, for me, my space is very sacred to me, and my solitude means a lot to me, and I guess my freedom, my independence means a lot to me. So, I've had connections with people where they were really like anxious, and it was very overwhelming and overbearing for me. And then I've had, my previous relationship, and then a kind of, wasn't even a relationship. I spoke about it in one of the episodes. I think the Limerence episode, where I mentioned I gave him the name Star. I was anxious in that situation. And those are two people who I've been anxious with. Everyone else, avoidant. Like, so, over the years, I've been learning more about my attachment style, learning about my triggers, and like what really, corners me into both ends of the spectrum. And it's been a really interesting journey. It's been really interesting to learn about myself in that way, but then also learn about attachment styles and being able to put myself in other people's shoes. And I think now where I stand, I definitely feel like I'm more secure, for sure. I'm not fully there. I have my moments where the avoidance side definitely comes out of me. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm actually quite glad. But I actually had a coaching session with Bobby a few days ago. We do it every week. And again, shout out to Bobby. She is incredible. She's amazing. She has literally like taught me so much. And it's like she's been like a light in my life. Like, she's helped me to grow so much. And we had a session the other day, and I said to her, I'm struggling to figure out whether I'm still struggling with my attachment style, mostly my avoidant side, or am I actually setting boundaries with people? And the reason why I said this is because I recently decided to go back on the dating apps. So late last year, I made a TikTok, which kind of, if you want to call it, went viral, if you want to call it that, where I spoke about how I decided to stop dating for a bit. So I think I stopped dating for a couple of months, actually. And when I say dating, I mean as in, being on the dating apps, or like trying to get to know people, or, being on the apps with the intention of dating. So I decided, nope, this is not working for me. Let me just switch off, delete everything, work on myself. And it was great for my growth. it was great for my healing, and I learned so much about myself within that period. And I decided to speak about it on TikTok, and yeah, like it really did well. Didn't expect it. I was just like in this headspace where like I just wanted to express that. I didn't think a lot of people felt the same way. And the comments that I was receiving, everyone was like, yep, feel exactly the same. It was mostly women, of course. There were some men in the comments as well who said the same thing. But, I feel like there's just this movement going on right now with women in particular where we're just fed up. We're just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry, excuse me. So yeah, I decided not to be on the apps. I've always had a love-hate relationship with dating apps, with Tinder in particular. And I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm so tired of having meaningless interactions, meaningless conversations with people. And not everything needs to have meaning, but because I'm such a passionate person and I try my best to move with intention. And the thing about dating apps is that it's a game, it's a game of chance. And a lot of these apps thrive because they bring out the worst in people. They bring out your insecurities. They make you question yourself. And I found that that's what was happening to me. I think the first video that I made when it came to like dating was, I think, late 2023, like when I first started making TikToks. I made a video about Hinge, and God, Hinge is not my favorite app. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I know that's the app where all the quote unquote serious people are. And so if I'm being honest, I've kind of, for the most part, I've been searching for something serious. I wanted something intentional, something long-term, not necessarily to find my life partner on the apps because, it's very rare. It's possible because people have done so. But, I had the intention of actually having a real raw relationship. And so Hinge, I tried to give it a go and it just was not it. And some of the comments cooked me. I'm not going to like, not a lot, but it was the men. It was mostly men. Women, again, this is why I'm saying that I just love women because you lot get it. Hinge is not it for me. For me personally, I know it's worked for some people, but I just found like, because with that app you can send comments and whatever, and all the comments that I was getting back from men was just like, very surface level, superficial stuff, talking about my looks. And it makes sense. It's a dating app. Like, that's how dating apps sort of work. I know everyone says, oh, you need to care about someone's personality and whatever, but with dating apps, it's visuals first and then you get to know someone. So it makes sense that they were doing that. But I think because of where I was at that point in my life, and I was like still healing from my breakup and still trying to find myself and pick myself back up, I just wanted someone to want me for who I am, or at least want to get to know me at my core, not just what they see on the outside. And I think because of where I was at and receiving those likes and comments or whatever, I just didn't enjoy it. And as I said, a lot of these apps really do play on your insecurities. And, if you don't get a certain amount of likes, if you're not matching with your type, if the kind of guys that are like sending you likes are like completely, not within the category of men that you're searching for, sometimes it's like, rah, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, what's going on? And so I had those feelings and I was just like, this is not it. And I would say like I was mostly on Tinder. And again, I was struggling with that because a lot of people don't have good intentions on these apps. A lot of men are very sleazy. A lot of them will like pretend that they want something serious, but they actually just want to, get down with it with you. A lot of people are like manipulative, covert narcissists. A lot of people may have, left a relationship and decided to jump on the apps. And I've done that. I did that after my breakup. Like, I gave it some time. I don't know how quickly I went on the apps, but I know that a couple months after my breakup, I did go on Tinder, but then I realized I just wasn't ready. So then I deleted it, but I've always been on and off and I just have not been enjoying them. So as I said, I decided to stop dating for a bit. And then I worked on myself. I continued my coaching sessions. I really did try to decenter men. And for the longest time, I was like, what does that mean, really? Like, decent to men? Like, does that mean like I don't look at them at all? I don't like them? I don't think that's what it necessarily means. I think it just means shift your focus from having like, how do I word it? Shift your focus from romance, basically. Like, it's not the be all and end all. If you don't settle down at the age of 28 or whatever, like, it's not the end of the world. Like, I think as women, we really need to focus on ourselves and have our own. And I'm starting to see that, and I'm loving it. Like, my For You page right now on TikTok is just filled with like women just giving advice, women in their 30s saying, they wish that they spent their 20s really focusing on themselves and really growing instead of chasing men. And that trend that's going on about like how disheveled those relationships made women feel and look compared to them outside of their relationships. I can't remember the exact trend, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, where they sort of do like a present day version of them and then before. And some of these videos, I'm just like, what are these men doing to you? You lot need to send them to jail. Why do you look like that? Because of a man. But I hear it. Like I said, I'm not going to judge any women for that because I've been there. Like, in my experience, like, I've always become very stressed out, on edge, and in turn, like, I neglect myself in terms of like my eating, so I'll lose weight. And in my last relationship, my God, like, my body was reacting to everything that I was feeling and reacting to that man because it was rejecting him. And this is the magical thing about being a human being. Our bodies know before our minds know. And that's what we need to really like remember and focus on, because your body will tell you if someone's not right for you. And my body was telling me that. I mentioned before, I was struggling with acne for a little while, and I'm not going to pin it on my last relationship. It's just natural as a human being and as a woman, because our hormones fluctuate. So I was struggling with acne for a bit, but that relationship, my goodness, my skin was fucked. It was finished. Like, I was having reactions. I kept getting perioral dermatitis, which is like a rash that you get like around your nose, around your mouth area. And that started when I was in that relationship. Now, I thought maybe it was my partner's beard, which it probably was. But the fact that it just kept coming. No matter what I did, I kept getting that rash. My body just wasn't balanced. I wasn't eating properly. I lost so much weight. That was the slimmest I have ever been. Let's talk about how men can throw off your pH balance as well. Like I said, this podcast, I'm going to be raw with you guys. Like, that was happening to me as well. So it's very common. I'm not the only one, but yeah, your body rejects people. And so I'm just tired of dealing with that. I'm tired of my body not feeling comfortable with certain people. And I'm glad I have that ability. I'm glad I'm able to use my discernment now and, listen to my intuition. But at some point you get fed up, and women are fed up. I know I am. So I'm just like, do you know what? Let me put myself on a pedestal rather than putting these men on a pedestal. Now, that might come across as like bitter or angry to some people, but no, that's not the case. For me, it's more so just that I've been through so much. I gave so much to certain people. And instead of healing and working on myself, I swept all of that under the rug to go and fix someone else. Now, the other day, I was listening to Bag Lady by Erykah Badu, and so I'm the kind of person, when I listen to music, it takes me a while to really register lyrics sometimes, because I think it could be the case that, I'm just like wired differently. So when I listen to music, like, it's a whole bodily experience for me. Like, I really have to take in the sounds, the different dynamics, the polyrhythms, if there's like different rhythms and what have you. Like, I really like feel music. And that's why like I'm passionate about it. But then when it comes to lyrics, it's not that I don't care about them, but it takes me a while to really register what the song is saying sometimes, unless it's really relatable to my life. Most of the time, it will take me months, even years, to really understand what an artist is saying. Now, I've listened to this song so many times. I know this song is very popular, right? I was listening to it and I said, hold on a minute. Erica's spitting here. Let me even get the lyrics, because I could not believe what I was listening to. I was just like, why have I only just like registered what she said? Now, let's actually bring up the lyrics, because I feel like women, you lot need to listen to what she's saying. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back, dragging all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you. One day, all them bags gonna get in your way. Like, and then there's another part of the song, you guys know this, well, if you know the song, you know. One day, he gonna say, you're crowding my space. I said, yes, Erica, I know what you're talking about. In a nutshell, as women, we are so good at carrying men's baggage because we want to be Captain Save-A-Ho, as the Americans say it, or like we want to save them. We want to, make them see that we're actually good enough. It's like some sort of validation that we're seeking. So with this song and these lyrics, it's basically saying that you can carry his baggage all you like. You have your own baggage. You need to focus on you and your healing and your growing and the baggage that you carry, right? But then us women, what we'll do, we'll also take on their baggage, right? And men are funny because they want that. They want a woman to be their peace. They want a woman to be their world, my this and that, like someone to uplift them, to carry their baggage. And when we do so, they will have the audacity to say, it's too much, it's too much. I need to focus on myself. Like I'm really stressed, like I'm in my head. It's too much, but you asked me to carry your baggage. And I said yes, because I'm so loving and caring and I want to support you. I want to be there for you. And I've done exactly what you wanted, what you asked for. You wanted someone to be your peace. You wanted someone to grow with. So I've now made space for your baggage and you're free of your baggage now. And then you're going to have the audacity to turn around and tell me that it's too much, that I'm too much. It doesn't make sense. So when I really registered the lyrics of that song, I was like, my God, like I really understand this. And I feel like a lot of us women, we go through this. There's always going to be that one person that you did a bit too much for. And I've done that. And I'm just like, no more. I'm not doing it anymore. I did that in my last relationship. I did that with different connections that I had that were like short-lived and short-term, where I was too available, too anxious, too attached for various different reasons. But the thing is, it's never about the person, it's about you. The call is coming from inside of the house. A lot of these relationships that we have with people, they're there or they happen to teach us something. We need to learn. And boy, did I learn from my last relationship. I promise you, no man is ever going to receive that version of me ever again. And rightfully so, because I gave too much. A lot of us give too much. And I'm just at a place where I'm like, I am done giving too much to men. I'm done being too available. I'm really in my selfish era right now. I'm not going to entertain anything that doesn't align with what I'm searching for. There might be certain connections that, I have that I need to have, I would say, in order to grow. Like sometimes you can go into something with an intention and then it just doesn't work out that way, which is absolutely fine. But I don't want to play games. I'm not interested in playing games. And I also wanted to talk about these like dating coaches and the advice that you hear online and what have you. And I've always been quite conflicted. There are certain, beliefs or things that are put out there online, which I'm like, okay, cool, I can resonate with that or I can understand. But for the most part, a lot of this advice only works for people who like to play games. For example, a lot of dating coaches or, people who give dating advice online will say to women in particular, don't tell a man what you're searching for. Don't divulge too much information to a man. Stay quiet. If a man ever asks you, oh, what are you looking for? Tell him, I'll know it when I see it. Fair enough. I hear it. But the reason why I don't like that advice is because I feel like you're just playing a game. It's like, it almost feels as though you're sort of trying to delay rejection in that way. What's the harm if you tell a man what you're searching for? What if you say to a man, I actually want something serious? And if he says he's not looking for that, what's wrong with that? And trust me, I've been there before where I've been afraid to tell a guy what I've been searching for because I was afraid that he would reject me. But it's not rejection. It's redirection. Maybe you're not meant to date that person, and that's okay. You're doing yourself a favor by being honest about your intentions and what you're seeking. So I don't like that advice that says, don't tell a man what you're looking for. Vice versa, same with men. Like if you feel like you want to fuck around, tell a woman that. I'm not going to lie, a lot of us don't mind. Some of us actually want to have fun. I always say, men just need to be honest about their intentions. If, for example, let's just say there's a man and a woman, let's call them Jack and Becky. Let's say Jack and Becky go on a date, right? Jack's like, Becky, I like you, but I don't want something serious. I just want to fuck around. Becky's like, all right, cool. Let's do that. Now, if Becky falls for Jack, that's on her because he has already told her that he's not interested, right? So she has to deal with that. She has the mentality that, oh, maybe I can change him. Maybe eventually it will change. You can't change someone. Don't go into casual connections or relationships like that, assuming that it will change because it's very rare. It's very, very rare. I'm sure there's even statistics about it. I think I remember reading it like a few months ago. I think it's like 15%. There's a 15% chance that a casual connection or a situationship will actually turn official or romantic. I think this was based off of a study. So that's on her. But then also we do need to talk about how men will say that. They will say they don't want a relationship, but then they do relationship shit. Or they expect you to basically be their girlfriend without the title. So there's all of these like nuances, all of these things that just really set us back as a society because people are just not honest. People don't want to go and do the work. We just need to delete the apps, close your phone, go to therapy. I know not a lot of people are into therapy. I'm a huge therapy advocate, but I feel like the reason why people don't want to go to therapy or really like shun the idea of it, it's because people are afraid of themselves. They're afraid to find out who they truly are. Or some people know who they are. They just don't want you to know. There's a lot of people who really need to do work on themselves. And trust me, I've come across a lot of them. And so do I. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's why I'm just like, I don't know. I won't say I'm not ready for a relationship, but there's a lot of work that I need to do. Because I'm always conflicted. Sometimes I want it, sometimes I don't. Again, it comes to my attachment style. Because I desire love, but then sometimes when I receive it in, different ways, not necessarily romantic, because if I'm being honest, I don't think I've really experienced romantic love from another person. And for me, I don't know if I've ever loved someone. I think I thought I did. And maybe I did. I don't know. I feel like at present, like when I think about it, I don't think what I felt was love, but I'm just conflicted because I want it, but then I'm afraid of it. And I realized that I have a huge abandonment wound. Again, I'm not going to go into the whole childhood stuff because I feel like I trauma dump on you guys a lot. But the funny thing is a lot of people really resonate and I get a lot of messages, from a lot of women and girls messaging me saying, oh, thank you so much for that episode or talking about this and that. I really feel seen. You know, the comments that I get on my socials, like it means so much to me that my podcast is really helping a lot of people. Also, before I go into the rest of this, I wanted to say I have had so many new listeners lately. So shout out to you guys. I am so grateful. And there are some people listening from Rwanda. I saw, I think Russia, America, like so many parts of Africa. I'm just like mind blown. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't launch this podcast thinking that I would be listened to all around the world. So I just want to quickly say thank you to all of you guys listening who tune in every week. I've just seen like so much growth since I've launched my podcast. Like it's slow, it's, you know, it's taking its time, but for me, I just really enjoy it and I just love telling stories or I love giving advice. So I just wanted to shout out everyone who listens, whether you tune in every week or every other week or however you listen or watch. I'm very, very grateful. So thank you. But yeah, I was saying like I feel like I kind of trauma dump on you guys a bit. I don't want this to always be like a negative episode. I don't think it is, you know, but I'm mindful of that because, you know, sometimes it can trigger people. I think I need to do a better job at like giving trigger warnings if I do talk about anything serious. But I think for me, this is therapy. This is my way of just like healing and working on myself and like trying to support other people, you know? But yeah, I won't go into the childhood stuff too much because I think my previous episodes have really covered that. Maybe in future episodes I can talk about it more. But yeah, I just feel conflicted when it comes to dating. If I'm being honest, I'm just like, I would love to find the love of my life. I would love to settle down. I really want to. I'm definitely at the age now where I'm just like, I'm done playing games. I'm not interested. Not that I was playing games, but you know, we've all been there where we've like entertained things that we shouldn't have, or we've stayed in connections longer than we should have. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not interested. Listen, if I want to have fun, that's cool. I will do that. And trust me, I've had my fair share of fun. But I think as I'm getting older, it's like something about 27 just like really changed my mindset where I'm like, I want a family. I want a family. And that has always been what I wanted anyway, but I really feel it now, especially because like I've done so much work on myself over the past 2 years and I've achieved so much in such a short amount of time. And how I've like grown, you know, from my last relationship, who I am today, like I'm just so proud of her and I've achieved so much. And I can confidently say, I've got my shit together. So I'm just like, the next step is wrong hand. I need the ring. I'm not in a rush, of course. Like, I'm still young. I really, really want to enjoy, you know, my 20s. I really want to enjoy being single. I want to enjoy my life. Because a lot of my life was taken up by like me, you know, supporting at home and like really going through it mentally and what have you. And I'm still healing from that. And so the last thing I want to do is rush into something so like divine to me and something so precious, you know? I want to make sure that I make the right choices and I do that with the right person. And I don't believe in divorce. I don't believe in any of that. Like I want love. We all do. I feel like that's what we're made for. You know, humans crave love. We all do, no matter what anyone says. And unfortunately, my experience so far hasn't been the greatest. I have been mistreated. I've been really like undervalued. And yeah, I don't deserve that. And I know that now. And I know my worth. Finally, I didn't before. And now I feel so confident. Like I walk with so much confidence. Like I feel myself finally just stepping into the woman that I've always wanted to be. So for me, I'm like, cool. I'm 27. I'm growing. I'm healing. I'm doing so much for myself and I'm doing really well. Why am I going to, and like, ugh, gosh, I can't even speak. Why am I going to let a man come and, you know, ruin all of that for me? I'm not saying that's what men do, but I'm not seeing the evidence that they don't do that. So I'm joking. But for me, so far, every time a man has been in my life, it has caused me chaos. And I'm not just going to blame them, it's me as well. It's my discernment, it's my lack of self-respect and self-worth. And I'm going to say that about myself because I don't think I had any of that. I do now. Oh, I'm strict. I am so strict now. Listen, there is nothing a man can do to me that will make me crash out. I've been through the worst at such a young age. Let me knock on wood. Famous last words, maybe. Well, God forbid we rebuke it. But I feel like if I was to get into another relationship and get cheated on again, you're not going to get a reaction from me. If I could go back in time to my breakup, I would have left silently. If there's any advice out there that these relationship gurus give, I agree with that one. Leave silently. Don't even give them too much. Why? They don't deserve it. If I could go back to that day, I would have sent the screenshot of the text that I received and I would have been like, come and bring my stuff. And I would have said, keep it stepping. Wouldn't have entertained anything. I wouldn't have cried. I wouldn't have done all that hooting and hollering. But sometimes you have to, because people need to know when they've crossed your boundary, when they've overstepped and when they've hurt you. So it's not a bad thing. I don't regret it. But as I said, moving forwards, if I'm ever in a situation like that again, I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction of one teardrop. You're not going to get that out of me. I am so much more strict now. And I am glad I'm finally setting boundaries because I didn't have any. But then I do find myself being a bit too strict sometimes. Like, that's why I questioned, am I still in my avoidant era or am I just setting boundaries? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to decipher the two because sometimes I'm not sure. I can confidently say that I am setting boundaries now. And I can give an example. So again, I've been on the dating apps. I've been trying to, give them a shot and everything. And I was on Hinge and I matched with this guy he was cool. He wasn't really my type. But I was like, do you know what, Awa? It's not everyday type. Just give it a go. You never know. So I was talking to him and we the usual small talk. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. You? Yeah, I'm good. Da, 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 da. And so he asked me about my job. He was like, oh, what do you do for work? Well, I think it was on my profile, so he was asking me about it. And then my guy asked me, who do you work for? Or what company? I said, huh? I ain't going to tell you that. So I tried to play it off. I was like, oh, if you ask me more interesting questions, maybe I might tell you down the line. Cool. So I asked him about whether he enjoys what he does and what have you and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, is it a company that I would use or enjoy or what have you? I was like, yeah, I guess so. If you're into, whatever. He was like, yeah, no, I am. What about you? Da, 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 da. Then he sent another message. He said, oh, can you just tell me because I'm so bad at guessing? I'm not going to lie to you. I aired it. I ghosted him. I don't think ghosting is good. I'm not going to lie. But I think that was warranted because you're doing too much. Why are you asking me all these things? So I had to set that boundary. Now, I wish I set it with words rather than without words. Because I don't think ghosting is fair. I don't think it's very nice. But I have had situations where people have overstepped my boundaries and I've told them. But I think younger me in that situation would have felt pressured to tell him and continue the conversation because I probably wouldn't have wanted to, be stiff or difficult, which would then make him ghost me, i.e. reject me. So I would have seen that as a rejection. Whereas now I couldn't give a heck. I don't care if what we're talking about or my interests don't interest you and you decide to ghost me. That's fine. We've all been there. There's always been someone who has ghosted us on dating apps. I've had that. When I was young, I used to take it personally. I used to think, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me? We were having such a good conversation. Why have they ghosted? Now I couldn't give a damn. I don't think about them the next day. because I feel more secure within myself. Like, that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't mean that I'm not worthy. It's not any sort of validation for me. So I don't care. So this is how I know that I'm actually growing and I'm healing. But, being the deep thinker that I am, an overthinker, like, at first I was like, am I becoming cold? Like, what's going on here? No, I'm healing and I'm growing. My life doesn't revolve around men. So, you know, um, but yeah, the dating apps they've not been fun. They've not been fun. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I am just not having a good time. I'm not having a good time. So I'm still on Hinge because, I'm just like, am I being difficult? But I don't think I am. I just think there's just nothing out there right now, or a lot of us who are in the streets or single, we need to heal. There's a lot of us who are dealing with a lot or carrying a lot of baggage. And instead of us being on these apps trying to like replace someone or fill a void or forget things, like, to like sweep things under the rug, we just need to lock it off. Just delete your account or pause it, maybe. Go and get therapy. Or if you don't want to get therapy, there's a lot of resources online. I watch a lot of TikToks. I've learned so much from TikTok. Let's just, lock our phones, spend some time, being grounded, being one with ourselves, really feeling our emotions, because a lot of us avoid that. So do I. And I don't know. I don't know how I want to move forwards, but that's just where I'm at. I'm just like, this ain't it. What is going on? But yeah, guys, as I said, the dating scene is cooked. It's just, there's a lot of us who have a lot of growing up to do and a lot of growing and healing. And, I don't blame people for the games that they play, because there's a lot that we carry. And sometimes it takes you years to be aware of these things. Like, not everyone is self-aware like that. Self-awareness takes time to, become apparent. And some people don't want to be self-aware. Some people don't want to face their issues internally, and some people do. I know I do, because I want to break that cycle. A lot of us come from, broken homes. A lot of us have seen a lot of like abuse, and, we come from homes where there's no love. I know I have experienced that. And I want to break that cycle. I want to have that happy ending. I want that fairy tale, definitely. But I have more realistic expectations now. But if I'm being honest, like where I'm at, I'm just kind of like, I kind of do feel a bit discouraged at the same time, because I'm just like, what is going on? I finally know my worth. I know that I'm worthy. I know I'm good enough, So it's just like, what's happening? But it's not about me or how I look or my personality. It's just as a collective, like the things that we carry and what everyone's going through. And like I said, society as well. There is this pressure for everyone to settle down, to get married, to drive cars, to have a certain job, to earn a certain amount of money. Like there's all these pressures, and it's difficult. And it's not just with us women, it's with men as well. And I think a lot of men, unfortunately, don't face their problems. And a lot of their problems stem from childhood as well. Their relationships with their mothers, their relationships with their fathers. A lot of people have a mother wound. A lot of people have a father wound. A lot of people have a fear of rejection. A lot of us have abandonment wounds. Like, we're all healing from something, and it's this cyclical thing that we need to break. So in my mind, I'm like, let's just say there's a man, I'm going to use the same name, Jack, for example. He probably has a really volatile, unhealthy relationship with his mother. So now his perception of women is not very healthy. He doesn't treat them with respect. So then he gets into a relationship with Becky, and he mistreats Becky. Becky also has issues. She doesn't know her dad, or her dad is in and out of her life. So she's got daddy issues, if you want to call it that, but she's got a father wound. She's got a fear of abandonment, which makes her anxious. Whereas with Jack, he's avoidant. So every time Becky tries to get close to Jack, he pulls away. But then when Becky gets anxious and when she gets fed up, she pulls away, and then Jack is like, oh no, I'm going to lose her. So there's always this push-pull dynamic. But that hurts both of them in different ways. Now let's look at Becky. She gets fed up one day and she leaves the relationship, but she's still craving him. She's still hurting from the situation. She's got rose-colored glasses on. She thinks about the good parts of the relationship, but forgets that the majority of it was bad. It wasn't good for her. It triggered her. Her nervous system was not settled. So then she carries that trauma into her next relationship, whereby maybe she's still anxious and then she goes through the same cycle again. She attracts the same kind of avoidant man. Or she becomes avoidant herself. So then she meets a really nice guy, or maybe she meets someone anxious who triggers that avoidant side in her and she pushes him away. So then it's this never-ending cycle. Or let's say she settles with that anxious man and she has children. And then she's in her avoidant headspace, and so she becomes a mother that pushes her children away. So those children now feel abandoned and rejected, and they grow up with that feeling of, oh, my mum didn't love me, so I'm either now going to be anxious or I'm going to be avoidant, or a combination of both. And then they go through the same cycle. Like, this is exactly how it is. Our parents have been through stuff. They sort of pass it on to us. Then we go through life, and then we're trying to figure out ourselves. And then when we have relationships, like, it's just, oh my gosh, like, being on Earth is ghetto. Earth is ghetto. I'm convinced that this planet was made for us to heal. I personally think everyone on this earth who has been here and left and who is still here or still to come, this is the healing planet. This is the planet of teachings, learnings. Like, we need to learn things. But a lot of people don't want to. Like, it's all well and good me saying, oh, men are this, men are that. Us women are too. We all need to heal. All of us. But some people just don't want to face themselves. And I know I've experienced that. I saw it with my own eyes. With so many connections that I've had. Long term, short. I've seen it. Because of the kind of men that I was attracting. And a lot of men are like that. A lot of people have expectations. A lot of men have expectations. They want a baddie. They want the unattainable girl. They want, the girl that their boys want. They want to be able to have her so that it validates them, so that it makes them feel like they're the guy. But then when they get her, they mistreat her because they don't believe that they deserve her. So when they have the girl that they've been chasing, when she finally gives in, they mistreat them. I don't get it. It's like finding a diamond, looking at it and be like, nah, forget it. And you toss it away. That's what my ex did. That's what all of my previous connections, that's what they did with me. And I can confidently say that. I am a diamond. A lot of men think that the grass is greener on the other side. And I've experienced that, where certain people thought the grass was greener on the other side. You can have your green grass. Yeah, the grass might be greener on that side. But over here, where my grass is, there's flowers that bloom. My grass has flowers. Sure, it may not be as green as the grass that you're seeking. Fine, you can have that. But mine, over here, there's flowers that bloom. And that's what I'm going to say. And that's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm like, you can step out, you can do whatever you want. I now approach things where I'm like, I'm just going to let people be who they want to be. That Mel Robbins theory, the let them theory, I really stand by that now. I just let people do what they want to do. I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to cling on to you. I'm not going to waste my life hoping that someone chooses me. Because I finally chose me. I don't need you to choose me. You don't validate me as a woman, as a human being. I don't need anyone's validation. And like I said, I'm so glad that women are now starting to wake up and see that we don't need the validation of men. Men don't need the validation from women either. A lot of us women, we put men on a pedestal and we don't realize it. Like, a lot of the time we know that these men are not good for us, but in our minds we think that we can change them, or if we wait around just long enough, they will see our worth. I'm telling you, men see your worth from the jump. They know already. That's why they're there. That's why they're still entertaining you, because they want a piece of you. They may not want to, commit. They may not want to, take it further, but they see our worth straight away. And I'm telling you, ask any man who wants to be honest. They know what they're doing. Everyone always knows what they're doing. But we delude ourselves. We give too many chances sometimes. And you know what? Some people do deserve second chances, but not all. This doesn't mean take back that ex that cheated on you, by the way. However, for me, I believe in just do what you want. Let people do what they want. If you want to take back that ex that cheated on you, by all means. Sometimes it can make your relationship stronger, I guess, if that's what you believe. But that's not for everyone, though. We need to put our feet down on the ground and say no to a lot of things. But a lot of people are afraid of rejection. And that has been my issue for a long time. I've been so afraid to be rejected because it is one of the most painful things that I've ever experienced. Now, I've not been rejected in a way of like, say if I move to a guy, like he's been like, I'm not interested in you. Not in that way. Rejection can mean a lot of things for different people. Not receiving a response on a dating app can be a rejection to somebody. Someone taking hours to respond can be a rejection to somebody. Is that a rejection by definition? I don't know. That's just how people perceive it. I can't tell someone how to feel. If that feels like a rejection to someone, then that's fact for them. But that's been the case for me. I've definitely felt that. But I'm trying to rewire my brain in a way where when these things happen, I don't want to see it as a rejection. I now see it as that's supposed to happen. I always say when it comes to so many different things that when something doesn't work out for you, it actually did work out. Especially when it comes to dating. Let's say you're talking to someone for a couple of weeks and then it just fizzles out. To me, it did work out. It worked out the way it was meant to. Now you're one step closer to the person that you're supposed to be with. That's how I see it. So now rather than telling myself, oh my gosh, like this is not working out, like why is this not working? I'm just like, no, it's working. It is. I'm closer than I ever was now. Now, of course, I have my moments where I'm just like, ooh, like, what's going on? Is it me? Did I say something? I'm a human being. I'm going to question these things. But at the same time, I'm glad that I'm questioning it because I'm processing the information. I'm trying to understand instead of going into it blindly, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I'm definitely trying to figure it out. I don't want to rush. I kind of said to myself that I really do need to enjoy the remainder of my 20s because I'm 27 now. I'll be 30 in 3 years. But to be honest, I'm looking forward to my 30s. I think I'm going to have an amazing time because I'm already this self-aware. I'm already this confident within myself. So I feel like my 30s are just going to be like an extension of that. And I'm going to meet so many different people. I haven't met all the people that I'm supposed to meet. Who knows? Maybe I'm supposed to meet the love of my life when I'm like 32, and that's okay. That's still young to me. I just want to enjoy the rest of my 20s. I don't want to play these games. I don't want to have all these stupid conversations and all this small talk. Like, tell me something new. Tell me something interesting. I don't want to rush anymore. For the longest time, I have always moved at a fast pace because I wanted to control the narrative. I wanted to make sure that I had someone. I wanted to make sure that I could fix somebody and that they could see the good in me and that they wouldn't reject me. I wanted to move fast so that I can secure it and contain it. And in turn, I just ended up getting hurt and I don't want to do that anymore. Now I really want to take my time. I'm moving with intention because like I said, I want that ring on my finger. I'm not playing no games anymore. And quite frankly, I'm not interested. So that's that. Now, the usual segment that I include in this part is the glow tip of the week. But before I get into that, I actually got some dilemmas come through. So I asked everyone on socials to submit any dilemmas or any stories that they had that they would like me to share on the podcast. And you can do that by emailing me at bythehour@gmail.com. And you can also submit a form. So if you go onto my socials, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, I don't really use X. I hate calling it X, but you know what I mean. If you just click the link in the bio, there'll be a Google Forms doc where you could submit your dilemma or story. So the first one is to do with heartbreak and betrayal. So this person says, "Hi, Hour. First of all, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story." Bless you. Thank you for listening. It really resonated with me because I'm going through something similar. A few months ago, I found out my ex was cheating on me while I was doing everything to make the relationship work. What a dirty pig. Wow. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just like laughing. Anyways, let me get into it. The worst part, I didn't even catch him through messages. I was cleaning up his room one weekend and I found a pair of strip lashes on the floor near his bed. First of all, sis, why are you cleaning his room? Do you live together or anyways, I get lash extensions and haven't touched a strip lash in years, so I knew they weren't mine. When I asked him about it, he fumbled, said they were probably mine and that I was being paranoid. Crazy work. But not even a week later, the girl came to me as a woman, hey, telling me they'd been seeing each other for months and she had no idea he had a girlfriend. I've blocked him, deleted the pictures, done the whole healing thing, but I still think about him way more than I should. How did you actually move on after being betrayed? I want to be in my selfish era too, but the memories keep pulling me back. Any advice would mean the world. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's difficult. I know, betrayal is really painful. It's one of the worst things that you can experience or one of the worst things that a human can do to another human being. And the grieving process is very difficult and it doesn't clear up overnight. You don't get over someone within a month. Maybe some people do. It depends on like how deeply wounded you are or how in deep you were in that relationship, I guess. And maybe everyone's different, but I feel like betrayals like that take some time. And I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with like all that manipulation and gaslighting. Like I've experienced that too. And it's just not a nice feeling. It makes you question yourself and your sanity. But you did the right thing by deleting all trace of him, blocking him. And, that's the best thing you can do in this scenario, if I'm being honest with you. I'm such a huge advocate for no contact because I think that really helped me with my healing journey and, dealing with the betrayal. But if I'm being honest with you, it wasn't easy for me. It was not easy. Like I have my ups and downs. Like I still have moments where I'm like, rah, I can't believe I went through that. Like I'm still learning a lot about the whole situation. And, sometimes things pop into my mind and I'm like, oh my God, I was gaslit or that was a sign. And, like you have these moments and it's not going to be easy. Like I've had moments where like I've heard a song that reminds me of a certain person or I've gone to a specific place where I went with that person and all the memories come flooding back. But the advice that I would give you is to feel. You have to feel it. Oh man, you have to feel it. And it's not going to be nice. I promise you. You're going to have moments where you're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to sleep. You're going to be crashing out. You're going to have moments where men make you feel sick. You're going to have moments where you're going to want to get back with him. You're going to have moments where, you tell yourself, oh, the relationship wasn't that bad. Maybe I can get over it. Some people can, but sis, if a man can cheat on you you don't know what else he's capable of. And I said this in episode 2 when I spoke about my breakup. When people cheat, especially when it's physical, when they sleep with someone else, it's disrespectful, because you're putting our health at risk by sleeping with someone else. And there's been so many different stories of people catching stuff, people having things that are permanent. That really messes someone up. Trust me. So you have to think about all these things. And cheating is not a mistake. People don't do it by accident. A lot of thought actually goes into cheating. So remember that. Cheating is a choice that somebody makes. But I also want to tell you that it's not your fault. It's not because you're not good enough. I personally believe people who cheat are very insecure. People who cheat have demons that they have not faced. And I mean that. So the advice that I would give you is take some time to yourself. Allow yourself to feel, cry it out, crash out if you have to. Trust me, you need to. Do things that you enjoy. Do solo dates. I started doing that last year. I need to pick it back up, but that was really good for me. Spend time with your loved ones. Spend time with your friends. Do things that you enjoy. Listen to music that you resonate with, even if it's music that actually, tells your story. Even if it's music that has lyrics about a betrayal. Sometimes you actually have to listen to it. Just feel. That's the thing that I would say. You just have to feel it. And trust me, you will come out of it stronger, because I didn't think that I was going to be in this headspace. I really didn't. And at the same time, he did you a favor, because he wasn't for you. He's not for you. No one deserves that. And I feel like men like that are cowards. Instead of you to own up to what you did, you're gaslighting the person. Why? He has shown you who he is. You have to believe him and you have to trust that version of him, because he's shown you. So sis, focus on yourself, love yourself, and trust me, you will be in a much better place, and you will find someone who will never ever do that to you. But yeah, so I'm sending you love, and thank you again for sending in your dilemma. And yeah, I'm so grateful that you even trust my advice. Obviously, apply it, wherever, and do your thing. You are your own human being at the end of the day. But yeah, just look after yourself. Right, guys, before I hop off today, let's go into the glow tip of the week. So I've written something here which says, you don't owe access to anyone. Prioritize your peace, protect your energy, and remember, being single is not a waiting room. Because I think being single has such negative connotations, and especially as women, we're looked down upon for being single. Embrace it, because I'm telling you, when men come into your life, a lot of the time they come with baggage, chaos, drama. We don't want that anymore. A lot of women are really stepping into their own, and I'm loving it. Enjoy being single. It's not a bad thing. Look at our parents. A lot of them are miserable with our fathers. No, not mine, because my parents aren't together, but you know what I mean. A lot of them are miserable. There's a lot of arranged marriages where they didn't even want to be with that man. There's a lot of men who have second families, who have third families, who have kids across the board, and our parents and grandparents just swallowed it. It's not going to be me. And it's not going to be you. So please do not settle for less. Put yourself on a pedestal. Whatever you desire, add tax. Don't reduce yourself for a man. And that's what I'm going to say today. But anyways, guys, that was a great episode. I felt like I really got to, get a lot off my chest, and I feel really relieved. So thank you for listening as always, and shout out to all of the people listening to me across the world. I am so, so grateful. If there's any topics that you guys want me to cover, please comment them on socials, email me, Even if you want to type it in the form, just let me know, because I really want to make this a safe space for everyone. And I don't only want to share my experiences, I want to share yours as well, if you're comfortable. But let me know how you're finding the podcast. Give me a rating, comment. I love responding to comments. So yeah, but anyways, guys, thank you so much. And as I always say, keep glowing, stay true, and always be unapologetically you. Bye, guys.